Now, whether that truth...
Do you disagree that the religions have the truth?
Oh, of course they don't have truth.
They have some truth?
Well, you see, these religions are myths. They attempt to explain the great events of creation, of reality with myth.
But myth is great, isn't it? I mean, you seem
myth
to have
myth is great when that's all you have. Excuse me.
In your book,
when that's all you have, myth is fantastic. But when you have an understanding of the atomic and subatomic world, we don't need myths anymore. Okay? We don't need that anymore. We don't need them because we have anything that we want to try to understand, it's right there in the atomic and subatomic world. Go there and try to explain everything that you don't understand from the atomic and subatomic world. See the entire universe through the atom. And forget those myths. Those myths will take you nowhere.
Are you sure we're ready to discard our myths?
You'll have to.
Even though
you'll have to get rid of them.
Even though you admit that even the scientists
get rid of them.
Who have the best grasp on the nature of material reality only know a tiny percentage of what exists. Even though they don't know that only that, you still think we have the equipment to
have enough.
We
have enough. We have enough to at least help us in a very real way define our situation and to start to grow from there. Why did they cancel the reactor in Texas? Money? We need the reactor in Texas. It was going to cost how many billions of dollars? They cut it out. I cut it out of the budget. So now they're going to have to make a better reactor somewhere else. They should be making that reactor because that reactor is going to take these subatomic particles, crash them together, and it's going to show all of the other particles, subatomic particles that are in matter, so that we can come to understand what is the basic reality of the subatomic particles. Understand what these particles are. They took it out of the budget.
Are you saying that it was a conspiracy to
It was
quash
the guy.
truth?
They didn't think it was that important, so that's it. They took it out. So let the Swiss make it. They have a great reactor, and so Europe has the best reactor right now.
CERN, yeah. What about?
It's a shame. It's a shame that the most powerful country in the world was not going to build the greatest atomic reactor so that we can go and delve deeper in a more specific way into the subatomic world. How are they going to do it? How are they going to get there? That reactor is the only entry.
What does that say about us?
I don't know what it says about us. What does it say about us?
Well,
it says
that something to be talking about it so fervently.
Well, you see, we won the Cold War. You know what I just read? The United States dropped 802 atomic bombs on itself. Not two. 802. There were 802 pockmarks in Nevada, holes.
I did a big show on that a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that. That the United States basically used the populations there as guinea pigs, which they spoke of in a military periodical as low-use segments of the population. And they consciously used them as guinea pigs to determine the effects of radiation on the population.
Yeah, but all of that, those holes are now contaminated with plutonium. I think it's...
Forget the holes. I'm talking about the people who died
Yeah,
of
the
cancer.
people who died, but now the people who are still dying from the plutonium.
Exactly,
plutonium,
sure.
which takes millions of years to decay. Anyway, we know we've dropped 802 atomic bombs on ourselves, on our own country.
But that's for the...
we don't need Russians to drop a bomb on us.
But that's because we wanted to learn about truth.
Huh?
That's because we wanted to learn. That's another hitch. I mean,
I cut my nose off to spite my face. Yes.
But look, all the societies that have agreed with your version of absolute truth have not respected anything in their search to find it. If you look at Hitler, all the...
Hitler was a society that agreed with me?
He agrees with you, yes.
Oh, you say Hitler agreed with me? he belonged to
Nazi Germany, as we all know,
agreed with me
in its scientific experiments.
Wait, are you saying that Hitler agreed with me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why would you say a thing like that?
Because of the utter, absolute
You're flipping out, George, right?
Conviction in absolute truth. That there is such a thing, that it's imperative that we can
Hitler
reach it.
Had absolute truth. There's a difference, sir. There's a difference. Hitler had absolute truth, according to him. Okay? There's a difference between having it and not having it. I don't have it, and he had it.
He thought he had it on a political level.
But his
Hitler
society, was just like all the absolute religions on the face of the earth.
But on the scientific level, they were still pursuing it, and they were well aware of that.
Yeah, but he had absolute truth.
And in that pursuit, yeah.
He believed and knew that he was in the super race.
Can I get to the question? And so, okay, he knew that he was in the super race, so politically, Hitler believed he had found the absolute truth. But scientifically, his regime and his society was seeking for it feverishly in a variety of areas, from weaponry to the way the human organism exists. My question to you is this. Since you too believe in absolute truth down the road anyway, but what are the limits in exploring and finding it? Is it okay sometimes to use humans as a means, even though you don't separate us from rocks or trees, to discover and explore what that truth is, or is that a no-no? How do you view that? The limits of pursuing and exploring what the absolute truth is.
A person like me, I would say that there should be no limits. If I could do something that would bring me closer, oh yeah, there would be no limits.
So maybe it's okay for those people who live in Nevada to be used as guinea pigs?
Well, I would take every situation. I would take every situation on its own. I'd have to deal with every situation and pass it through my inner conversation and pass it through my consciousness. I'm not going to. You're not going to start making me a Nazi or something. Is that what you're trying to do? You're not going to try to say that I should blow up the people of Nevada or something?
I'm trying to figure out where you draw the line.
I don't know to draw the line. I say that getting closer to absolute truth is very important. If you came across a situation, I would have to pass it through my inner conversation, to my consciousness, and then come to the conclusion if that should be done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it meant like, I'm only kidding.
Don't worry. Yeah. Anyway, you're really down on Illusione, everything that came before atomic consciousness, which you call Magoba.
In 1962, Camelot almost became Armageddon. Okay, and this is the
Cuban
work.
Missile Crisis, you mean?
Yes, this is the work of Illusione. Let me tell you something. We came very close to atomic war in 1962, which would have been at least the end of Russia and the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So, it wouldn't have been the end. We would have been back into maybe 15th century or 13th century or something, or not even that, way back. We'd go back to the Stone Age somewhere.
But what about Illusione, as you've admitted before, building cities, empires, flying to the moon? It's brought us to this point. So there have been, I think you even admit, either directly or indirectly, a lot of accomplishments by humankind under Illusione, as you put it, not operating on the level of atoms, but of identity.
Imagine if they didn't have Illusione. Imagine if way back
we would have gotten further.
If we stuck with Democritus and with the rational mind of those Greeks, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates.
Do you think it was the Romans who ruined it and cut off the flow?
Whoever. Anyway, if we had kept with Democritus and stayed with those logical, rational Greeks, I think we probably. Do you know they had computers in ancient Greece? They did. So, I mean, not this, but they had their own computer.
Abacus or something?
No. It was a complicated computer, but they didn't know what they had. The point
is,
what
kind of computer are you talking about?
I'm not going to get into that right now. They had that. They had it.
People want to know what it is.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm not going to get into it right now.
All right, go
ahead.
Let
me make my point.
Nothing exists